We are live. Yay! I'm so excited. I am so excited to be here. Let's make sure the camera is right. Hello, 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 everyone. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited to be here on today. I have a really exciting topic for us on today. And of course, we know the drill. I'm going to get Instagram on here. I'm going to get Facebook on here, and we're going to get started. Of course, tonight's topic is the road to recovery. During life in general, we all go through things. And in going through things and experiencing certain things that leave a long-term effect if they're not dealt with, those can have long-term effects, like I just said. And we have to deal with those problems. We have to deal with them. We have to heal from them. We have to honor them for what they are so that we can move forward in a life of healed life, in a life of healing, a life of wholeness, a life of abundance. So, I have Instagram right here. Perfect. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Instagram. I'm getting Facebook going, and we're about to get started. So, tonight's topic again is the road to recovery. So, in exposing the madness that we experience when recovering from certain things, of course, we must acknowledge that it's a road. We must acknowledge that it's a journey. We must acknowledge that it's a process. And in acknowledging that, we experience such a huge amount of feelings, emotions, things like that. And in honoring the fact that it's a road to recovery, we have to understand that a road in itself is a wide path. It's wide. So we have room to stray. We have room to get deterred. We have room to get discouraged and say, you know what? I'm not doing this at all. And in that, we must honor the fact that it's a process. We must honor the full process in itself and implement action items that can help us when we experience those emotions trying to creep back in when we're trying to live a healed, whole life, when we're trying to live a life of abundance, a life of purpose, a life of intentionality, simply because we don't want to be that hurt version of us. We don't want to be that upset version of us. We don't want to be the victim. We don't want to be that. We're not victims. We're survivors. We're survivors. So in that, we must honor the road to recovery. So we're going to dissect this and move forward to discuss the action items, because there are actions that we have to take after we actually honor the process. So we're going to get started. Kind of like the road to just the local retail store, local grocery store. Thank you so much. Just like the travel to the local store, we see things. We see passengers, we see cars, we see people, we see intersections, we see so much. So similar to that, when recovering, we experience a lot. We experience sadness, frustration, guilt, shame, regret, grief. We experience an abundance of things. And in experiencing those emotions, in experiencing them, we also have to honor the fact that the emotions have effects on us. Sometimes short term, sometimes long term. They have an effect. They do. They have an effect. And in those emotions having an effect, we have to honor the effect, honor the fact that it left a long-term effect on us, and counteract that by simply choosing to implement certain tools and resources that can help us let go of that and move forward peacefully. So, Okay. Mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Those initial burdens, of course, can also have a way of showing back up personally, professionally, and that's not at all what we want. That's not at all what we want. And in the event that things like that happen, that's how we can miss promotions or have misplaced anger, misplaced blame. That's how we can represent ourselves as victims versus survivors, simply because we're walking around with the mindset of, "Whoa, it's me, this happened, this is going to keep happening," versus honoring, "This happened to me. It's not who I am. It's not a reflection of me. If anything, it's here to make me a better version of who I was." Okay. So it's a process. It's a process. And here we're going to kind of peel the layers back on this process. So we'll end the conversation with action items to help all of us actually implement ways to counteract the hurt, the feelings, the emotions, the blame, the guilt. We want to counteract all of that. We want to honor it, minimize it, counteract it. That's how we recover. And then there's a last step, but that's how we recover. So, first things first, to help us implement the appropriate action items, we must identify that what we're recovering from and why. What we're recovering from and why. Of course, we're not gonna focus on recovering from. I want to watch what I say. We want to make sure we're not focusing and implementing tools that could help with recovering from disappointment when we're recovering from rejection. We don't want to implement certain tools that are more useful elsewhere. We want to implement the right tools for the right things. So first, we must honor and acknowledge what we're recovering from and why, and dissect the why. This will help us define the problem, remove the shame and blame. It will help us implement accountability, and then it'll help us actually work towards recovery. It'll actually help us work towards getting over that thing and the long-term effects that it had on us in the past. So, common scenarios that require recovery. We have bullying, we have rejection, physical or mental hurt, guilt, grief, disappointment, manipulation. Those are some of the common scenarios, just in a general sense, that we can sometimes have to recover from. And sometimes we don't even realize that those things had a long-term effect on us. Sometimes we don't realize that that's a thing that we actually had to recover from, that we still have to recover from, that we're recovering from consistently until the process is done. And as long as you're living, truthfully, as long as you're living, learning, and growing, you're going to always have to recover from something. You're going to always have to recover from something. So, knowing your initial injury, knowing what your injury was, knowing what that thing was that caused the effect on you, knowing what that initial problem was, will help you in developing a strategy to recover from it and to identify when it's randomly trying to make another appearance. Again, knowing what that initial injury was, perfect. And knowing what that initial injury was, that will help you develop a strategy to counteract that issue when it's trying to make a random appearance. And we all know that bitterness can show up randomly. That jealousy can show up randomly. That hatefulness, the envy, the spite, all of the negative feelings that come with the hurt, all of those feelings can actually show up when we don't want them to. They can show up and represent us in ways that we don't necessarily prefer being represented. So in that, we have to be careful and we have to be intentional. And that's why I'm here today. What else? Okay. Now, we're just to remind you guys what we're doing. We're identifying the problem. We're removing the shame and blame, implementing accountability, then enforcing the action items. So let's dissect. I'm going to dissect one of these examples for you guys. And from there, I want you guys to implement self-coaching. Actually use self-coaching because it's a tool that all of us need to use, especially, I hate to step on y'all toes, but especially if you're the person that don't necessarily prefer to seek counsel, seek external guidance or external criticism. It could be constructive criticism or just opinionary criticism, whatever. It doesn't matter. But if you know you're the type of person that only really cares about your opinion, you should have positive self-coaching tools. So in that, we're going to define the problem, remove the shame and blame, implement accountability, and then enforce the action items to help us along our way. So let's say, again, I'm going to give you one example, and I want you guys to go down the list and implement self-coaching so that you can practice talking yourself through certain things. So the first example, bullying. The issue is not only that you were bullied. That's the first issue. That's the surface level issue. There are additional issues here. It's not only that you were bullied, but you were bullied and you weren't protected. Or you were bullied and you didn't protect yourself by speaking up for yourself or by defending yourself. These are common scenarios. These are common topics that can truthfully have long-term effects on us all. They can. And either way is tough. Standing up for yourself, that's tough. Defending yourself or not defending yourself is definitely tough. Holding that in, anything that's not spoken, anything that's not said carries weight. Anything that's not said carries weight. What you don't verbalize has an effect on you. It has a weight that it puts on you that can alter your natural sense of self. So in that, it's up to us to actually honor it for what it is. Call it what it is. Like they say, call a spade a spade. Call it what it is. But we have to be intentional about healing. We have to be intentional about honoring what it is that happened to us. So not only were you bullied, but you either told someone and they didn't protect you, you didn't initially protect yourself, or you did protect yourself, but it still had an effect on you. So we have to honor the fact that bullying is a problem. Not having protection or someone to defend you is a problem. Not defending yourself is a problem. It is. That's not blaming you. Because if you didn't defend yourself, I guarantee you weren't taught. I guarantee you weren't taught. So that's not to blame you at all. It's not to point the blame. It's not to point the finger. And it's not at all to say, you know what, you should have done this. You should have done that. No. That's not what we're doing. However, we're dissecting how something like this can have a long-term effect on us and what we need to do to actually recover, honor the recovery process, and give ourselves a better setup for not having to experience this again. Learning the lessons so we can move forward. That's what it's about. So now just to confirm again, that was not at all to attack you. However, not having protection is a problem. Not having defense is a problem. Not protecting yourself is a problem, and it caused additional problems. So let's remove the shame. Let's remove the blame. Let's remove the guilt by honoring the fact that it's not your fault. If that happened to you, it was a reflection of the character of the bully. It was a reflection of the bully's character, not yours. It doesn't have anything to do with you. Initially, it doesn't have anything to do with you. However, typically the things that hurt us the most are the exact same things that reveal inner strengths. The things that hurt us the most are the exact same things that reveal inner, deep-rooted characteristics that can be helpful, like integrity, durability, tenacity, resilience, bravery, strength. Those can be helpful. And if anything, try your hardest to understand that those circumstances can elevate you. They can grow you. They can evolve you. They can actually transform you into the leader that you were called to be, into the leader that you're running from being today. Truthfully, those characteristics can actually reveal certain things. It can reveal who you are. Not the characteristics, but the circumstances. Anything that you go through is meant for you to go through because you learn a lesson out of it. And those lessons develop our character. It shifts our integrity. It shifts our alignment, our posture as far as who we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to be. It shifts that and it aligns that. So anything you go through, it's not meant for it to have long-term effects on you as far as misrepresenting yourself, not being your true self, your true whole, true healed self. It's just that we have to honor the process. We have to honor the effects, and we have to call it what it is so that we can implement certain things to help us get over it, get past it, get through it, and actually live the lives that we were supposed to live the whole time. Because that's the gag. Whatever you will have later in life, you were supposed to have it the whole time. It just took you a minute. You had lessons to learn. You had to grow. You had to evolve. That's it. So, again, it reveals your strengths: integrity, durability, tenacity, resilience, bravery. It reveals your strength. And we try our hardest to understand that, if anything, we must try our hardest to understand that these circumstances can elevate us always, always. So after we define the problem, we've defined the problem and we've removed the shame and blame. Now let's implement some accountability. Let's counteract this problem. Implementing accountability is the way of counteracting this problem. Let me clarify that first. And, I lost my place in my notes. Implementing accountability is the way to counteract this problem. And after we define the problem, remove the shame, we must then use accountability or utilize it by being a resource to the folks who are survivors just like you, being a resource to the folks who were voiceless just like you, or who actually fought the fight but suffered the consequences later, because they need support too. They need support too. If you ever endured a fight and you left with anything as small as a headache, you needed support in that headache. Even if your support was a Tylenol or whatever, you needed support. So, be relatable, be resourceful. It's a lot of times people suffer in silence simply because they feel like, oh, nobody can relate to me. Or because we are so quick to say, oh, I told you so, that we don't actually disclose the fact that that's a relatable issue. That's a relatable circumstance. If that happened to you, it could happen to any of us. No, it's not you. But we're so quick to say, oh, I knew something you didn't know. So we're in the I told you so world, and that's unacceptable. Unacceptable, utterly unacceptable. We need to start being more relatable and be resourceful to one another, especially when we all are experiencing the same problems. We all are going through the exact same things. So, be relatable, be resourceful, and help create communities of accountability. Help stop the bullies, help stop the abusers, the folks that cause hurt and run from accountability. Help stop that. If you know, and I hate to go here. I hate to go here, but it's a lot of times where we deal with something or a family member deals with something, but because that person didn't do it to us, we're quiet. Come on now. And we wonder why people feel alone. We wonder why people are suffering in silence simply because we're unintentional about being relatable. We're unintentional about being human and displaying the fact that we're human. We're in such a day and age to where we're trying so hard to prove our perfection when none of us are perfect. We're just striving for excellence. So in that, we must be intentional about being more human. Be intentional about showing that if I'm human, you're human. If you go through it, I go through it. We go through the same thing. So let me support you while you support somebody else. And we all can have a community based on support and accountability. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. Truthfully. So help correct or even just support the cause. I know for sure sometimes when you support certain things, it's like, I want to support, but I don't want to be the face of it. I don't want the notoriety. I don't want the publicity of it. Simply support. Simply donate. You don't have to be in the forefront of it. It's not something where you have to show, oh, I did it. You don't have to do that. However, we must counteract the problem. If it's a problem for you, you're just going to keep letting everybody go through the same thing when I'm sure there's something that you wish would have been done to help you either avoid that situation or support you through dealing with that situation. I'm sure you wish it was a resource. I'm sure you wish it was a tool, something. I know for sure I have things I've gone through, and that's why I'm doing this today, simply because I want to create a community of accountability, a community of a safe environment, a community of open dialogue and open conversations to say, hey, I went through this. It had this effect on me. It had that effect on me. It's not to point any blame. It's just to explain why I am the way I am. And it's hard. It is. It's hard with support and without support. It's times where I've gone through things and I've had high quality support. It's time where I've gone through things and I've had no support at all. So either way, it's still hard. So we have to actually support ourselves and others by implementing accountability to counteract these problems that we all endure, because these are all common problems: bullying, mental hurt, physical hurt, resentment, rejection, all of it, all of it. We all go through it. So in that, why not share tools and resources that can help us maneuver through it gracefully without being tainted or affected long term, without having to shift our character because we have to defend ourselves a little bit harder. That's tough. That carries weight. It carries weight. And recently I've gone through something where I was blessed to release some weight from me. I was blessed. I was blessed. I was blessed. I've gone through some things where some weight, and it was tough because, like they say, when you grow, there's still growing pain. So, in releasing that weight, I had to actually lift it to let it go. So, as I lifted it, I felt the pain, but I let it go and I felt the release. So, in that, I encourage you guys, honor it and release it. Honor it, release it, counteract it so it doesn't have to happen as often, and move forward. And move forward. So, in supporting you and moving forward, let's implement action steps to actually help us as we recover. to help us as we recover, to honor the process of the recovery. So, first, we must implement positive self-talk. If you're the type of person, again, that doesn't like coaching, counsel, or external insight, you should definitely have positive self-talk. You should have positive self-talk affirmations ready to spew out at the negative reflections of your past, at the negative emotions that are triggered by the smells, the thoughts, the sights that remind you of that thing that hurt you. Have positive self-talk ready. So when those things pop up, it's like, you have no place here. Yeah, that happened to me. Yeah, it reminded me of that. Yeah, that put me in a dark place, but I made it out of it. I'm back and I'm better. Implement positive self-talk. Regardless of what I've gone through thus far, greatness is part of my destiny. Excellence is part of my destiny. Abundance is part of my destiny. Having positive self-talk will definitely help you maneuver through the recovery process, because those emotions are going to come back up. And you don't want to misrepresent yourself in the process. You don't want to cost yourself a good thing in the process. And I've been there too. I've lost some things. I've taken some losses simply because I didn't represent myself properly, because I wasn't healed, because I didn't honor the process. That recovery is a process. I didn't honor it. So in that, I encourage you guys to do that for sure. Repetition is key. The more you say these things, the more you believe it. So if you think it every day, it's a problem. Repeat constantly. Repetition is key. Constantly. Every time you have that thought, counteract it with, regardless of what I've been through, greatness is part of my destiny. Excellence is part of my destiny. Abundance is part of my destiny. Eventually, you'll begin to believe it. Eventually, you will begin to believe it. Implement self-worship every single day. Not self-care, self-worship. It's a difference. Not self-care. We're not just caring for ourselves. And a lot of us associate self-care with personal maintenance. And that's not the case either. Definitely not the case either. We have our personal maintenance, like getting our hair done, getting our nails done, getting the haircut, getting the seasonal clothes or whatever. We have the maintenance. However, outside of the maintenance, go an extra mile to take care of yourself, whether it's working out, whether it's going for a walk, going outside, getting fresh air, going to get a massage. Do something that you don't always do, so that you can pour into yourself every single day and show yourself the high quality love that you're supposed to receive, so that when you receive it, you know what it is and you know how to receive it. That's important. That's really, really important. Next, be gentle with yourself. Be gentle. Be gentle with yourself. There are still going to be days where you're more affected from the hurt of your past than others. There's still going to be days you're going to be more hurt. You're going to be more upset. You're going to be more affected, more sensitive to the topic. However, on those days, be graceful with yourself and allow for you to acknowledge the emotions by journaling, or I don't care if you do this, flip on the camera and talk and get it out. Do what you have to do to honor the emotions, get them out, release them. Honor them, release them. That's it. Be gentle. Be gentle. You're human. It does hurt. It does hurt. Honor the fact that hurt hurts. Honor the fact that it hurts, so that as you go through the hurt, you can call a spade and release that thing, because it doesn't last always. It does not last always. It doesn't. The sun comes up in the morning for sure. It doesn't last always. So honor the emotions. Implement positive self-worship every single day. Positive self-worship every single day. Create positive self-talk, positive affirmations. Go on YouTube, type in 8-hour affirmations. Listen to affirmations while you're asleep at night. It'll help you. It'll help you, especially if you're in a relationship and you feel like your partner could suffer from certain things. Put that affirmation on. Let both of y'all hear it at night. They'll be okay. Especially if they watch TV at night, they won't care about that affirmation. They'll say, let it play. It'll help them go to sleep. So literally, be gentle with yourself. Implement positive self-talk, self-coaching. Implement self-worship every single day so that you can know and be prepared for true high-quality love, and you can know how to receive it. Last but not least, do your work. Do your work. Now that you've honored the process, you've dissected the problem, you've released the shame, released the blame, you've implemented accountability to actually counteract and shift the issue. Now that you've worked through those steps, it's time to do your work. It's time to do your work. It's time to invest in yourself. It's time to let go. Be intentional about letting go. You're going to have the emotions are going to come. The effects of the emotions are going to come. They're bound to come. However, implement self-talk, implement self-worship, and do the work to invest in yourself and give you everything that you thought you didn't qualify for. Give yourself everything that you thought you weren't worthy of because of that hurt, because of that pain. Go ahead and invest in yourself. Work on yourself. Educate yourself. Work on your brain. Work on your body. Work on your image. Be more intentional about how you represent yourself. Work on your credit. Work on your assets. Work on you and give yourself everything you wish you previously had. I'm so sorry. So sorry. I forgot to take my sinus medicine and I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Definitely work on yourself. Give yourself everything you wish you had. Prepare yourself for everything that you want. Go ahead and invest in yourself. Go ahead and activate the dreamer that's inside of you again. Go ahead and activate the visionary that's inside of you again. Activate that leader that's inside of you again, because it's there. It's still there. It's always been there. It's just it was buried by some of the weight that you were carrying because you didn't vocalize it. It was buried under the weight that you were carrying, the weight that wasn't vocalized. So now that you've vocalized that weight, now that you've put some talk to it, put some words to it, now that you've given it sound, you can actually move forward in your recovery process by creating new visions, new dreams, new goals, new aspirations. Become a new and improved version of yourself. Again, those circumstances were only meant to shape your character. They were only meant to shape your character. They were only meant to reveal your strength, reveal your resilience, reveal your tenacity, reveal the leadership qualities, reveal all of that. Those things were meant to reveal that in you. So after you invest in yourself, move forward. Be intentional about moving forward and making room for the new visions, new dreams, new goals. That's how we recover. That's how we recover. You honor the hurt, the problem. You honor the hurt. You honor the problem. You let go of the blame, let go of the shame, let go of the guilt. Like they say, let that hurt go. Let it go. After that, you implement accountability to counteract the problem, and you invest in you. From there, you're recovering. You're recovering. You can seek counsel, seek guidance, seek coaching, mentorship, whatever, to make sure that you're actually elevating mentally. By all means, that's how we recover. And if you don't, because I did mention that we discussed how it can show up physically, physically, spiritually, emotionally. Let's talk about that, because it will make its way around in the event that you run from it. In the event that you run from it, it won't go away. That weight doesn't go away. And if you don't deal with it, it'll get deeper and deeper and darker, heavier and heavier. And you don't want that. And you definitely don't deserve it. Let's say that. You definitely don't deserve it. It can show up physically. It can show up in weight gain, weight loss, detachment from your personal appearance. You won't be as quick to implement self-care, and eventually it will show. You won't get the haircuts as often. You won't get the new shoes as often. You won't get the new hairdo, the new nails. You won't get any of that. You'll just let go and kind of tap out. It will be noticeable. It will be noticeable. Been there, done that. I know for sure. It was times where I look back at pictures and I'm like, what the world? Why did they let me do that? Seriously. So it doesn't go away. It will show up. If you, it can show up spiritually. It'll show up in your character. When it comes to spirituality, let me clarify this. When it comes to spirituality is a reflection of your heart and your character, your heart's posture and your character. So in that, when I say spiritually, it'll show up in your characters or your flaws. You'll begin to wake up spiteful, mean, hateful, just nasty. You can be rude. You can be short-tempered. You can be impatient, sarcastic. It'll show up. It will show up. And it's not cute. Let me say that. It will show up and it is not cute. So in that, you definitely want to be intentional about honoring that hurt, honoring that road to recovery, honoring the injury that actually caused the recovery. Honoring that for what it is, acknowledging that, journaling often so you can do a brain dump and let go of all that mess every single day. Because if not, it will show up physically, spiritually, and now mentally. You'll begin to have negative self-talk. You'll begin to agree with all the negativity that comes with the injury. You will. Let's say that injury was bullying, and because of that, you don't know how to stand up for yourself. That will show up. It will show up. You begin to think, oh, I ain't never gonna be able to defend myself. I'm never gonna know the words to say. And that's not how we supposed to speak to ourselves. If anything, we should be the best, biggest advocate for ourselves, because if nobody has us, who has us? If nobody has us, who has us? Oh, okay. We do. Oh, okay. It can show up in different ways. Anxiousness. Genuinely. You can walk around holding your breath and not even realize you're holding your breath. Breathe. Breathe. But hey, it'll affect you and it'll be so deep and dark that you don't even realize you're not breathing. Breathe. Let go of the anxiousness. It can come with paranoia because you're not talking yourself out of the negative beliefs of that hurt. You can have a high risk, no reward mentality. And we all know it's plenty of folks who don't believe in investing in themselves because they feel like everything is too risky and don't have a reward because they haven't gotten a reward for anything, or because they haven't invested in themselves to even see what the reward looks like. Because we know it's folks out there who deny themselves greatness simply because they're scared. And it's okay, because I've been there, but eventually you'll get tired of being scared. I'm scared of poverty. I'm scared of poverty. And I say that truthfully. I'm scared of it. However, I've been there. Days where I still feel like I'm there. So in that, we have to be truthful. And I'm here to interrupt the pattern. I say it all the time. I say it all the time. I am here to interrupt the pattern. I am here to bring you into a higher level of awareness so that you can begin to talk yourself through things so that you are not the type of person that requires external confirmation. You can begin to have dominion on your thoughts, your opinions, and talk yourself through some of these things because you're going to be a leader one day, whether it's a leader of a household, a leader of a business, a leader in your job. That's up to you to decide that part, but you're going to lead in something. So you might as well get ready. You might as well get ready. And when it comes to, you can have the high risk, no reward mentality, self-sabotage, deny yourself abundant things that were meant for you this whole time. Professionally, it can definitely show up. You won't take constructive criticism. You'll always feel attacked or belittled, even when someone is trying to help you sharpen your skills, to help you qualify for the promotion, to help you get to where you want to be. They're trying to pull people up the ladder with them, and you don't even see it as that because of the hurt of your past. You're seeing it as, oh, they telling me I'm not good enough. They're coming for me. They're belittling me. And that's not the case. We got to broaden our perspective. So all of this, let me make this clear. All of this correlates to anybody who follows me for entrepreneurship videos. Anybody who follows me for entrepreneurship content, anybody who follows any platform, honestly, if you are seeking entrepreneurship, personal development, this video is for you. If you're at a place where you want different from where you are today, this video is for you, simply because in the event that you want different, you have to prepare for different. And you can't prepare for different with the same old wounds, the same old hurt, the same old mindset. So I'm here to rip off the Band-Aid, interrupt the pattern, and help us get to where we need to be to actually receive what's for us. Because what's for us is for us regardless. It's going to be for us regardless. But it's up to us to actually make room for it, honor it for what it is, be intentional about what it is, and move forward on this road to recovery. So, any questions? Any questions? This was fun. This was really fun. It felt good to just talk about something that's a common denominator between all humans. I don't ever want to show up here and display myself or portray myself as a know-it-all or a guru no. This isn't that. I'm simply an entrepreneur who chooses to document my process so I can actually shift the narrative that entrepreneurship is a glorified process, because it is eventually. But there's tough days, there's lonely days, there are days where you're not focused, there are days where you're not in it, there are days where you want to call it quits. And I'm here to demonstrate all of that and to show you guys what it looks like when you're actually resilient in the process. So that's why I'm here. That's who I am. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below, DM me. Of course, I am Cornisha. I'm your purpose and personal development coach. I coach women and men on monetizing their gifts and talents and turning their dreams into their jobs. I help action-minded individuals who are looking to go ahead and take that next step, but they need guidance, they need reassurance, or they need support simply in the process. That's who I am. That's what I do. And if that's what you're looking for, my link is in my description. I love you guys oh so much. I am Cornisha, and I will see you next time. Thanks. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night.